We're multifaceted. We're multifaceted beings, multidimensional even. And we can express that in lots of different ways. In the Indian traditions, it's normally expressed in terms of past lives and future lives. We can understand it in terms of moods, in terms of phases of our life, different modes of our life. You know, you might be a parent, you might be an artist, you might be a worker. Who knows? We've got so many different aspects. And I think it's actually, whether you believe it or not, it's makes some kind of sense to believe in so many lives going on, even when you disappear into a daydream or a fantasy. It's like another life, or an ordinary dream even. How many lives do you lead each night when you're fast asleep in your dreams? And I came up with the image of the onion, you know, which has got lots of layers, and we move from one layer to the next. But what is the connection between each layer? You know, there's actually not, even when you sort of peel back an onion, it seems like almost like the layers aren't even in contact with each other. There seems to be a little space or skin between them. So this is the sort of territory we're in at the moment when we talk about jivas. Jivas are like the multifaceted jivas, like an aspect of ourself, and or you might think it's a fundamental aspect of yourself. Vasistha continued, the very seed for all jivas, which is the absolute Brahman, exists everywhere, and within the jivas there are countless other jivas. All this is because the entire universe is totally permeated with the infinite consciousness. It's not even permeated, there isn't anything else. It is the infinite consciousness, there's nothing to permeate. It's a bit like saying that everything is permeated with space. Upon their appearance as the jivas, whatever type of contemplation they adopt, they soon become of the same nature. They who are devoted to the gods reach the gods. They who adore the demigods attain the demigods. They who contemplate the absolute Brahman become Brahman. Hence one should resort to that which is not limited, conditioned or finite. By contemplating the form of the nymph, Shukra was bound, and when he realized the purity of his self, which is infinite consciousness, he was instantly liberated. Well, this is the ultimate in wish fulfillment, isn't it? You get whatever you contemplate. And I think we've got to be a bit careful with that. Basically, you are whatever your attention is focused on. Whatever your attention is focused on right now is what you are. We've spoken before how the subject becomes the object. If I'm looking at an object, here's this mouse, there's just the mouse. There isn't me looking at the mouse, although I appreciate it seems that way on the camera, but from where I am, from my experiencing, looking at this, there's only the mouse. I don't see me looking at the mouse. So in this way we can say there's only the object. When I'm looking at this, I'm not aware of me looking at it. I'm just aware of the object. So in this way you become what you contemplate. This is the meaning of this. And so you might want to consider what you contemplate. That's all it's saying here. And it talks about contemplating the gods. You know, that could colour the inner tone of your psyche. But you cannot contemplate the absolute Brahman, actually. That's this is you know, if you're contemplating the infinite Brahman, the absolute Brahman, All you can do is contemplate an idea of the absolute Brahman. And you cannot contemplate an idea of the absolute Brahman. The absolute Brahman is what is doing the contemplating. So this sequence of contemplating gods and demigods and then absolute Brahman is we've got to be very, very careful here. But it says one should resort to that which is not limited, conditioned or finite. Indeed, which means you shouldn't actually contemplate anything except contemplation itself. You contemplate contemplation. That is what is infinite, because contemplation can contemplate absolutely anything. Contemplation here is what you're directing your attention to. So you can certainly contemplate contemplation, but not in the same way that you would contemplate anything else. You realize your nature then. Rama asked, "Holy Sir, pray tell me of the true nature of the waking and the dreaming states. What constitutes the waking state, and how does dream or delusion in the waking state arise?" Vasistha said, "That state which endures is known as the waking state, and that which is transient is the dream state. During the period of even the dream, it takes on the characteristic of the waking state." Because in the dream state, it seems pretty permanent, doesn't it? The waking state, this is what we always wake up to, isn't it? We always come back here, even if you're in an advanced meditation or taking some strong hallucinogenic drugs. Hopefully you eventually come back here. You usually do, unless you die. And it gives it a seeming permanence, but you get that feeling when you're dreaming as well. So in the dream state, it takes on the characteristic of the waking state. And when the waking state is realized to be of a fleeting nature, it gets the characteristic of dream. Otherwise, the two are the same. So sometimes this waking state can seem like a dream. And when it boils down to it, both the waking state and the dream state are both created by the mind. We see that clearly with dream. We've got no problem with saying that, well, it's just all in the mind, isn't it? But everything that's happening in the phenomenal world has been created at the centre of our consciousness. Scientific picture is we're just getting all this electricity coming in through our senses, and somehow we turn that electricity into the whole phenomenal world. What kind of feat of creation is that?